30 seconds and counting. Team.
Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish. I'm joined with Roman, and today is draft day, and it's starting in less than 3 hours, and there's been a lot of rumors since then, so we're here to catch y'all up on the latest. So Adam Schefter reports that Houston is exploring a trade back up to the top 10, so they want a second top 10 pick, and they said if the right players there, the Texans are trying to position themselves to move their second first round pick at number 13 to get them. And just overall in general, a lot of people are expecting the draft to start at number 3, or they think that the Texans are going to take a wild move. But Roman, I just first want to ask you on that first tweet from Adam Schefter, what player do you think they could be targeting in that top 10 if they were to move up?
Yeah, Nick Caserio's been keeping everything pretty quiet, so we haven't heard much. But one thing that we have heard is that the Texans and Nick Caserio especially, it's been reported that he likes Garrett Wilson. It was reported by, I think, 3 or 4 pretty quality good reporters that he has interest in him, whether that be trade up or hoping he falls to 13. And the fact that there was a report that we're willing to trade up or trying to trade up, I feel like that's pretty telling, especially to the top 10, because Garrett Wilson he probably wouldn't fall to Houston at 13. He would either go at 10 to the Jets, maybe 8 to the Falcons or whatever. So I feel like Garrett Wilson is definitely one of the options that they are trying to trade up for. Maybe another guy like Kyle Hamilton, possibly. Maybe they don't feel like he's going to pass the Washington Commanders or the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe they want to jump them to get him. Or even there's also a possibility where they're trying to trade up for a tackle. I mean, maybe they take their cornerback, whoever they believe that is, whether it's Stingley or Sauce, number 3, and then maybe trade up to number 6 with the Panthers or 8 with the Falcons, and try to get the best leftover tackle or / guard in the draft, wherever that may be. But yeah, that's a couple of different scenarios.
Yeah, so let's talk about what teams possibly. So you did mention a few so the Panthers I feel are a strong possibility. We've talked to them in the offseason before with the Deshaun Watson trade. So we've already established some sort of some sort of relationship with them. And they also need day 2 picks. I believe they don't have a second or third round pick. So pick 6 is all they have. So if there's an opportunity for them to get a day 2 pick or day 2 pick or picks some way, somehow, I think if the Texans really like someone, they fall in love with someone and they're available at pick number 6, I think that's a very, very likely scenario. And another one I'm thinking about, obviously some other teams that are in that rebuilding phase, like the Falcons, the Seahawks. You could argue the Jets maybe. They're still in that initial phases as well. I mean, literally any team in the top 10 are in those rebuilding phases. But it's just which teams are more likely. And it's been reported that so many teams are trying to trade down. But if the Texans are one of those teams that are trying to trade up, that just makes things a lot more interesting. We saw it last year. He traded up to get Nico Collins, and then another time with Garrett Wallow. And so Nick's not afraid to trade up for his guy in a way. So because he mentioned in his press conference, he only found 80 to 100 players out of the entire draft to be guys they would consider drafting by the Texans. So if there's 80 to 100 players in the entire draft, how many would be in just the first round, right? So that's something to consider. But what do you think about some of the teams I named?
Pretty much as you said, every team in the top 10 is rebuilding. So I mean, each one of those teams should want to be able to accumulate as many draft picks as they can, or maybe they want to just stick there and get whoever they view the best player on the board. But honestly, I think it could potentially be the Panthers. The Panthers, they don't really have any mid-round picks at all. I don't think they have any seconds, thirds. Yeah. I think their first pick is in the 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe we give them a 3rd and maybe a future, maybe 1/3 this year and a future 3rd or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. And then, of course, the Falcons. The Falcons, they don't really know what they want to do either. There's been rumors that they want to go receiver. There's rumors that possibly Jermaine Johnson. I've even seen a couple of mocks give him Jordan Davis. I mean, maybe they could be an option to move back, try to get maybe one of those guys, see if they could get him at 13. But yeah, there's a bunch of different scenarios in which we could possibly do tonight.
Yeah, and Todd McShay also mentioned the Giants could be looking to move out of pick 7. So yeah, there's so many possibilities. So it's going to be interesting to see if there actually is a trade that materializes. But again, that's trade scenarios. But let's move on to another very interesting topic. And there's a lot of noise or whispers, whatever you want to say, that Kayvon Thibodeau is very much at play at number 2 per Lance Zierlein. And Peter Schrager also said that he got a source saying that Thibodeau to Detroit is very, very likely. They mentioned in the video that Thibodeau really hit it off with the coach Dan Campbell and their GM Brad Holmes, and so like they reference like, oh, Kayvon and talking to the GM is like talking to an uncle at a cookout. Like that's how close they've gotten. So that's pretty intriguing because the way it's shaping right now, based on the Jaguars being the Jaguars, they're gonna go and possibly draft Trayvon Walker number 1. And this Detroit rumors are true and not a smokescreen, and they actually go with Kayvon, then that leaves a very interesting scenario that we haven't mentioned at all on this channel, and that's Aiden Hutchinson on the board at number 3. What do you think about that? Dude, there's no way. Like that has to be the pick. There's no way the Texans either draft a corner or tackle or whatnot over Hutchinson right there. What do you think about that though?
Yeah, if Aiden falls to at number 3, I feel like it should be a no-brainer. He's a culture fit. He would instantly come in here, be that face of the franchise, that new face of the whole, one of the faces of the city in Houston, as well with, of course, you got respective in the baseball and the basketball community.
Yeah.
But as far as football goes, he would easily be the face of the franchise. He would run the city football wise. He would come in here being that or not superstar yet, obviously, but he would come in here being that star player. Talent wise, he's just a good culture fit all the way around. And Nick Caserio's preached culture fit, good character, good football player, and that's exactly what Aiden Hutchinson is. Like that's when you describe that type of player, that's what you're getting in Aiden Hutchinson. And I feel like if he were to fall in number 3, I don't think there's any way you should pass up on him. But I have seen a few tweets from, I'm not sure if these guys are very trustworthy or reliable, but I have seen a couple of tweets. And even the betting odds. The betting odds for Aiden Hutchinson to go to the New York Jets, he's their leading, I don't know how to word it correctly, but he's the leading
Contender
candidate to go to number 4.
Candidate.
Yeah, to go to number 4 to the Jets. Okay. This was last night. I'm not sure as far as today. But he was leading number 4, so I mean, that's kind of an indication Houston would pass on him. I'm not sure if it means they would pass on him or what, but I feel like it's very interesting.
Yeah, and there's also like rumors that like Lovie Smith in particular wants a cornerback. I don't know how trustworthy that is, but some Stingley has gotten more how do you say notoriety or news in the past few days than Sauce Gardner. I feel like Sauce at the beginning he was like mentioned in a private meeting with Lovie, and then he went to the Texans top 30 visit, but then it seems like there's been a lot of reporting that the Texans are very interested in Derek Stingley, and people are saying he might go as high as number 3. The Texans might even draft him at number 3 overall. As far as like who your cornerback 1 is, that's debatable, but a scenario that I could see playing out is that either if Hutchinson falls to 3, that's the pick, or if it is like say Hutchinson goes earlier 1 or 2. And then if we draft someone like Ekem at 3, then if the Texans are going to trade up, then they should do that for one of these corners in Sauce and Stingley, in my opinion. And so it's just hard to say which cornerback they'll go for, because Stingley, he has those injury concerns. He hasn't been himself since 2019, but he's still a very, very good player. You know, he played on a broken foot, but his ceiling is very, very high. Like Jalen Ramsey, like is what the kind of comparisons he's been getting. And then Sauce Gardner, he's like, to me, he has like a lot of intangibles that you love to see in a guy. He says he wants to be the best player in the draft. Very humble. He's like there for his teammates, team player, and also very good. His college career has been outstanding to say the least, allowing 0 touchdowns in his entire career. Like I don't care what conference you're in. But Sauce allowing 0 touchdowns is quite impeccable. So I feel like that's not easy in any league. And Sauce still was consistent when faced against tougher competition against Bama, Notre Dame. So it's just hard to say. Like I know Roman here, he likes Stingley a lot. Drew and I like Sauce like just a tad bit more. Just because like the injury, I just feel like just want the more sure thing. But I think Stingley could have has a really good chance to end up eventually being better. But same thing with Hutchinson. Hutchinson is going to be a very like surefire prospect. That's what a lot of people have been saying about him. He has the highest floor, and I mean, he's been saying has the lowest ceiling, but I feel like that's a little unfair. He's still a very, very good prospect, but I would be jumping for joy on this for this draft if we did end up walking away with Hutchinson and a combination of either Kyle Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, or Stingley. That would be absolutely amazing. And then if we could draft an O line second round, something like that. It's gonna be quite a wild draft, so I hope you guys are ready for it. And I'm gonna make up another video on this later, but we are gonna be streaming for the NFL draft at 6:45 here on Clutch City Entertainment YouTube. So be sure to come watch us. It would mean the world to us. So yes, and so that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on this draft. It's coming up in T-3 hours, but yeah, so be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.